a society which depends on complex network of transportation in order to supply and transport important goods and materials. The same idea applies for the human body. In our body, the circulatory system makes a complex transportation networks which allows movements of important materials such as oxygen in all the body. This circulatory system has two divisions, the cardiovascular system and lymphatic system. Now we release our blood to flow and focus on cardiovascular system. The term cardiovascular can be divided into cardio meaning heart and vascular meaning blood vessel. So the cardiovascular system consists of heart and blood vessels which together make up the blood transportation network of the body that carries nutrients, oxygen and waste product to and from the cells. The heart is a muscular organ that lies in the chest and it pumps blood through the network of blood vessels in the body. It's composed of four chambers, right and left atrium as well as right and left ventricle. Next are the blood vessels, which are tube-like structures that carry the blood pumped by the heart. Arteries are the blood vessels that carry oxygen-rich blood away from the heart to supply the body with oxygen and nutrients. And veins carry carbon dioxide-filled blood and waste products from other parts of the body back into the heart. Blood running through these blood vessels also carry signaling molecules called hormones, which allow for communication between organs and organ systems. And blood helps to regulate body temperature. For example, when it's really cold outside, the blood vessels lying close to our skin constrict to reduce blood flow to that area of skin, saving the heat within the body. Now there are two main networks called pulmonary and systemic circulation that allow for blood circulation between the heart and tissues in our body. In the pulmonary circulation, oxygen-poor blood from body tissues runs from right atrium to the right ventricle of the heart into the right and left pulmonary arteries, which carries the blood into the right and left lungs. This is one exception where arteries carry oxygen-poor blood. Here the blood releases carbon dioxide and receives fresh oxygen via gaseous exchange. Then blood runs back through the four pulmonary veins into the left atrium where it passes into the left ventricle. This is one exception where veins carry oxygen-rich blood. Now this is where the systemic circulation begins. Pumping oxygen-rich blood into the body's largest artery called aorta along its course. The aorta gives off smaller arteries that gradually branch into smaller vessels called arterioles. Near the body tissues, these arterioles further divided into smaller vessels called capillaries. These capillaries form small networks called capillary bed in which blood flow is reduced. This reduction in blood flow allows the gaseous exchange, nutrients and waste products between the blood and tissues. Now after this interchange of substances occur, the capillaries regroup to form venules, which eventually drain into the veins and eventually into the two largest veins called superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, which collects blood from entire body and empty into the right atrium, and once more pulmonary circulation cycle restarts. Blood vessels often connect to each other forming networks called anastomosis. These connections may be between an artery and a vein called arteriovenous anastomosis, between two arteries called arterial anastomosis, or between two veins called veno-venous anastomosis. Let's start with arteriovenous anastomosis, which allow direct flow of blood from arterial to venous side of circulation without innervation of a capillary bed. These type of connections occurs in some skin regions between arterioles and venules where they serve to retain body heat. Now in some cases the main blood vessels supplying a tissue can become blocked. Here arterial and veno-venous anastomosis provide possible detour route called collateral circulation to ensure structural distal to blockage receive ample blood supply. An example of collateral circulation is the circle of Willis in brain. Sometimes blood vessels may form anastomosis, but it's ineffective or insufficient. These vessels are called functional terminal arteries. Here an obstruction to the main artery supplying a tissue may possibly cause tissue death. An example of these arteries is the anterior spinal artery, which runs on anterior aspect of the spinal cord. Also, blood vessels may not form anastomosis at all. These vessels are called true terminal arteries, and example of true terminal artery is the central retinal artery of the eye. Since there is no anastomosis here, a blockage in central retinal artery can cause blindness. Now may also flow through two capillaries bed before reaching the heart. The venous system connecting these capillaries bed is called portal venous system. The most prominent example of this system is the hepatic portal venous system, which directs the nutrient-rich blood from capillary bed of the digestive tract to the capillary bed of liver. This allows the liver to filter the nutrients and other materials absorbed in the intestine for any toxin or harmful materials before returning the blood to the heart. As a quick recap, the cardiovascular system consists of heart and blood vessels. It regulates the body temperature and carries oxygen and nutrient-rich blood to all tissues and removes carbon dioxide and waste products from them. This system is broken down into the pulmonary and systemic circulation. The pulmonary circulation is between the heart and the lungs, while the systemic circulation is between the heart and the rest of the body. Anastomosis are connections between the blood vessels that serve as a backup in case of occlusion of artery or vein. The arteriovenous anastomosis is a direct connection between the artery and vein system without normal capillary bed in between. Lastly, portal venous systems are venous systems that link two capillary beds. So thanks to all for watching this lecture.